Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another MLittleProgramming tutorial. In today's video, we will be looking at what is name equals main in Python. In the last video of this Python for Beginners series on unit tests, we saw this piece of code. Today, I wanted to go into more detail about what it actually does. In this video, we will build up our understanding of what is going on here, so that over the course of the video, we can build this if statement from the ground up. So first of all, let's create a file. We can call this file anything we like, but for this demo, we'll call it file1. Inside this file, we're just going to print the name variable. When we run this, we see the value of name is main. Now let's try and concatenate this name variable with hello and see what happens to the value of the variable. We see the name variable maintains the value of main. But as I mentioned, name is a variable and therefore its value can change. So how and why does its value change? Well, let's try and create another file to see how it changes. Let's name the file file2. Inside this file, we're going to print hello from file2. So, if we come into file1, and at the top of the file, import file2, and run the program, we see hello from file2 is printed, and then hello main is printed. So now if we come back into file2, and instead of printing hello from file2, we're going to concatenate that with the name variable. And when we run file1 now, what we see is that it says hello from file2 and then file2. So the name variable's value in file2 when we run it from file1 is file2. This is because when you run a script, your name value equals main. However, when you import other scripts into the script that you are running, the name variable equals the name of your file. So in our case, file1 is the script we are running. So name within file1 equals main. However, when we import files like file2, the value of name equals the name of the script. And this would be the case for any file we try to import into our main script. So if we created another file and called it file3 and imported that into our file1, the name value inside of file3 would be file3. So why do we need to know the value of name? Well, to understand why knowing the value of name is important, we need to think of a slightly more complex system than two print statements inside of two separate files. And to do that, we will think of a system like a login system. So the user logs in file1, and then within file2, they get some extra functionality after they log in. So in file1, we'll create a print statement, and we'll say, enter login details. Now, we won't go on to implementing a login system in this video, but you'll get the basic understanding. So after we've entered our login details, we also want a variable or some sort of value store to say whether the user is actually successfully logged in or not. So we then create, say, a variable logged in. And just for this video, we'll set that to true. So the user is always logged in. Now, inside of file2, we then want to give the user some extra functionality. So we'll say we want to print and give the user some videos after they've logged in. But when we're running file2, we also want to know whether the user is logged in. And obviously all of that functionality is inside of file1. So we clearly need to import some of the functionality from file1 into file2. And the functionality we want to use is asking file1 if the user is logged in. So we have a variable for that. So we say if file1 user.loggedin is true, then give the user some videos. And when we run that, we see that MLittleProgramming videos has been printed, which we want because the user is logged in. However, even though the user is already logged in, we're still telling them to enter their login details, which is not what we want. So, how do we solve this? Well, generally, in Python, functionality is split out into functions. And so we wouldn't just have these functions as a print statement and then a variable. We would have these two separate parts of functionality in separate functions. So we would create a function and say login, as this is the functionality to login. And inside of that, we want the user to enter their login details. And then we want a function to check that we can call to see if the user is logged in. So we create a function is logged in. And inside this function, we're just going to return the value of our logged in variable. We also want to check that this login details is only called when this is the first file that we've called. So that means in terms of our name variable, is name main? So remember, name is only equal to main when this is the script that we are running. Which means that when we first run the script, we'll run file1, which will mean that name will be main and will ask the user, please enter your login details. And as we only want this to run on the first time the user logs in, we can say if the name variable is equal to main, then we want to call the login function. And this means that any time that we run file1, name will equal main, and therefore we'll call the login function. However, back in our example, where we don't want to print enter login details because we've already got past the login function, we just want to return MLittleProgramming videos. And so when we come back into file 2, we can actually get the new function that we've created is logged in, and that will return true in our case. We want to print MLittleProgramming videos. And so when we run file 2 now, we just see MLittleProgram videos printed. And that is because file 1 is being imported into file 2, and therefore the value of name in this file is not main, it's file 1, and so we don't call the login function. It simply prints enter login details, because we are running file 1, the name variable equals main, and it will take us to our login function, which is where we just enter login details. Thank you for watching the video this far. I hope you got a lot of value from it. If you'd like to see more Python programming tutorials, there will be a link in the description down below to a playlist of Python programming tutorials. With that said, if you liked the video, if you could drop a like on the video, it would be much appreciated, as it really helps the channel, and subscribe to see new Python programming tutorials every week. Also, if you've got any questions about the video, drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you. Have a great day.